So we're going to exit the trailer park. I wanted to talk briefly. Last week, speaking of the trailer park, I talked about Spider Noir and the Nicolas Cage iteration that is coming out. And I was very upset. You should go and listen to it. It's very fun for other people. Not for me, but for other people, it's fun. So I read the original Spider Noir comic because I was like, well, like, big mouth, go do your homework. Otherwise, what are you going to do? And I'll admit, I got some things wrong.
Okay.
Felicia Hardy runs a club. She is not a woman of the night. That first and foremost. That was the thing I got the most wrong.
Okay.
Norman Osborn is a gangster, not a circus man, but he recruits all of his men from the circus. So I got that wrong.
That's passable.
That's it. That's what I got wrong. Everything else I was pretty spot on.
Yeah.
And I love this comic so much. It's so good. Oh, the Wasp and Ant-Man don't show up in the second edition. I was thinking of 1602, which is, again, similar but different. Okay, fine. Everything else I got right. And it just shows me that you're missing the point. Now, I've heard that the two people he's talking to are Felicia Hardy and Joe Robertson.
Okay.
I'd be okay with that. I don't know if they are. We'll see. If it is Felicia Hardy, I have kind of concerns about her look. It's fine, but at the same time, if you're doing the comics, then why doesn't she look like the character in the comic books? She just looks like a woman in the 20s. Felicia in the comics is like, she has like these really elegant gowns, and she has like stark white hair. She looks like the Black Cat. Yeah. And this doesn't look like the Black Cat, and it should, because her club is called the Black Cat. Like, you couldn't be any more clear. And it's Falcone's bar from the Batman. It's like the DA is there, and the mobsters are there, and the chief of police is there, and all the judges are there, and they all just hang out and have this agreement about how they're going to run town. And it's like, okay, cool. I like this. This is rad. Peter gets into the club because Ben Urich takes him there. Ben Urich, a man who has been so dreadfully maligned.
Oh, fuck yes.
Outrageously maligned. The fact that nobody knows who Ben Urich is because he dies in season 1 of Daredevil is such...
It's so fucking stupid.
Horse hockey. It's so bullshit. It's like... Because if Ben Urich is such a great character and can do so many different things, I would actually rather have the character here be Ben Urich and not Joe Robertson. Although having him be Joe Robertson is fine too, and sets up stuff with the Doc Ock stuff, which again, I still don't think they're going to do. I do not think they're going to make Doc Ock an Aryan menace, which is what he is in the other ones, in the comics. I don't think they're going to have him lobotomizing black people because he has to learn how, and he's going to use the most useless people in the group, and it's all the black people. And it's like, he's not a good guy. I don't think they're going to do that, though. I love Ben Urich in this because he is part and parcel to the problem. And he meets Peter and Aunt May in a Hoovertown style development. For anybody who didn't go to high school history, a Hoovertown were these groups in the Great Depression where when people lost all their money, they would just build shanty towns in parks all over the country. And they were called Hoovertowns because Herbert Hoover had kind of put them all into this situation and left them to rot, and, you know, was still only helping the rich people. And 100 years later, same problem. But I digress. We meet Aunt May because J. Jonah Jameson has sent Ben Urich out to find the most heart-wrenching stories in New York to put on the Daily Bugle's front page. And it's very much like, I want them to cry. I want to suck the tears out of their souls. And so he's looking around for all these sad stories, and he meets Aunt May, who is a communist.
Oh my God.
And she's up on a soapbox talking about communism.
Yeah.
And the fucking enforcers show up and they try and scare her. And so Peter steps in because he's like, I'm not doing that shit. And Ben Urich steps in and is like, don't fuck with him. They're like, okay, we won't fuck with him, but only because you said so. So I was like, okay, what's up with Ben? What's going on with it? None of this is going to come up in the show.
No.
And it should, because it's awesome. But also, Peter is fucking 18. He is an idealist socialist. He is one of high ideals, and those ideals are all around socialism. and he, you know, everybody who's ever gone to college has met this person at a party. everybody who has ever gone to college has 100% met this person, especially if you go to a liberal arts school. Peter also has a chip on his shoulder and is pissed about everything, which while I was reading it, I was like, Pete, I feel you. Even now, even with this version, who is so far removed from the Peter that I usually know, quote Hook, there you are, Peter. And it's just like, I'm so pissed with you, man. And you find out Ben Urich is shooting heroin. And you're like, that's never going to be in a comic book. And here it is, Ben Urich. That Ben Urich shooting heroin. And he knows that Uncle Ben didn't die because he was torn apart by wild dogs, which is what the story is. He knows he died because the Vulture ate him because he was in the room and watched it happen. And again, not going to do that because fucking Nick Cage is in his 60s. And he's also not Peter Parker. And I'm just like, why are we doing this then? You have Norman Osborn, who has kind of killer croc disease, where he has scales under his skin. So when Peter grabs at him, his skin comes off and he has scales underneath, which is why he's called the Green Goblin. Peter uses the mark of Cain. Would anybody in the class like to raise their hands and tell me what the mark of Cain is? The mark of Cain is from the Clone Saga, when Cain is born. Anybody who doesn't know, Cain is the evil brother, I know, crazy, of Peter Parker. And by brother, I mean clone. The mark of Cain is just, he does the thing that people talk about but never see, unless you watch like The Boys or Invincible, where the character with super sticky powers puts their hand on your face, doesn't turn off the sticking, and rips away. That's the mark of Cain.
Damn, son.
And he does it. Peter Parker does the mark of Cain to Norman Osborn, and his skin comes off and he's got all these scales underneath. And you're like, oh, that's why he's the Green Goblin. There's fucking magic. He's bit by a magic spider, not a radioactive spider. Fucking Kraven is a lion tamer with an attack monkey.
Oh, weird.
Chameleon shows up. Like, there's so many cool fucking things here. There's a moment where Peter Parker, as Spider-Man, is caught holding a Luger over a recently shot J. Jonah Jameson, and it has to be like it's not what it looks like. Whoa, not what it looks like. Like, there's so many cool things to do here, and we're not going to do any of them because it's 65-year-old Nicolas Cage. And I'm just so fucking pissed about the whole thing because everything is so cool. Mysterio is an escape artist. Instead of like necessarily using visual effects, it's like there's visual effects elements, but it's also like escape artistry and all these other elements. So it's like the prestige. It's like, there's so many fucking cool things. Sandman is just like a giant guy who's called the Sandman because he puts you to sleep.
Oh, nice.
And it's just like, can we have cool things?
What Sony and Marvel themselves have forgotten is their own words from the first Spider-Man movie. With great power comes great responsibility. They have great power, and they're not using the responsibility because they're changing stories.
Steve. Remember the trailer for this. With no power
comes no responsibility. Exactly.
So you've just fully missed the point.
Yeah.
You didn't even run past the point. You didn't even turn to get on the road that the point was on. There's an argument to be made that you haven't left your driveway. This is like that old Robin Williams bit where he talks about a guy being high and getting in his car and driving and getting pulled over and freaking out because he's going to have to talk to this cop while he's high and debating whether he tries to make it look like the dog was driving in the first place and that's how he's going to get out of it. But none of this matters because you never left your couch.
Yeah. That's right.
That's the level of, that's what no responsibility means to me. Is like all of these things and we're going to make a show and it's going to be Nick Cage and all these other things. And it's like, you missed the point so much you never left your couch. I can't fucking believe you, except I can fully fucking believe you because of course you would do this shit. So that sucks, but definitely go read Spider Noir. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
It's every page is great. It's so good and it ties into the Spider-Verse. Even the animated movies scratch the surface, but the Spider-Verse is a tough story to tell because I really hate the fucking the vampire family. They're not the Enforcers. What is the name of fucking dumb shit's family? The Inheritors.
The Inheritors. The
Inheritors is it's literally cosmic vampires. it's
okay.
It's really dumb. Essentially, they have tapped into the web of life, which is what connects all of the spider people, and they're using it to drain life force into themselves. And also they will capture spiders and actually eat them as well, like spider people, and eat them as well.
And I just want to let people know, I just bought Spider-Man Noir, the digital copy at Apple Books for only $6.99.
Hey, there you
go.
So
there you go.
There you go. So definitely check out Spider Noir because it's way better than what we're going to get from Nick Cage.
Yes.
2 more things I wanted to talk about. I finished My Hero Academia.
Oh.
The last season came out and I finished it. I watched all of it on Hulu.
Final thoughts.
It's complicated.
Okay.
Here's the thing. The first, I think it's 11 episodes. No, it's 13. The first 10 episodes are immaculate. They're so great. And it does all the things you want it to do for My Hero story, where like it has all the characters, it has the fight scenes, but it also has the drama and the philosophy elements of it that really make it impactful of like, what is a hero? What does it mean to be a hero? Where does this come from? What's important? Because a hero is so complicated in so many canons, right? You have the whole idea of a superhero who works for the government in Invincible or The Boys. Or in Marvel Civil War. You have superheroes that don't work for the government, which is what I think ultimately is the only true superhero. I don't think a superhero can work for the government, because by working for the government, you automatically are in their pocket.
Yep.
You know, you remember, Captain America didn't side with the U.S. government during Civil War.
Yep.
Captain America actively fought against the U.S. government during Civil War because he recognized that this is a way for their power to be utilized by a source outside of themselves for someone else's purposes.
Yep. And take all the times Batman gave shit to Superman for working for the government.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, like, superheroes can't work for the government.
Yes, I agree.
Naturally, by the basic nature of them, without being in some way muddied. The whole premise of My Hero is that the government subsidizes hero work. And there's a lot of villains who are deemed villains because they disagree with the basic nature of that. And they say, well, you can't be a hero because you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
You should be doing this purely for the sake of doing it, which I agree. I think that the basic elements of a superhero story are a individual is given godlike powers.
Yep.
Do they become selfish or selfless? And that's how you get heroes versus villains. The people that would do good for others are selfless. They're heroes. The people that would use this power for their own greedy means, they're villains. They're selfish. Tony Stark is kind of in both worlds. Batman can also kind of play in both worlds a little bit because there's an argument to be made that he has crafted himself into a weapon for good and spent all that time and energy doing that, unlike Tony Stark, who just built weapons to augment himself. But in both cases, there's an argument to be made that they would be able to do more with their wealth to change the system that is keeping individuals down than necessarily cherry picking cases one by one. But at the same time, they are still ostensibly doing the right thing for the right reasons. So it's complicated, right? And My Hero explores all of these ideas at various points. And also, like, societal changes, how society deals with people suddenly having superpowers. What does that mean? What does it mean to have weird superpowers in the society? Even in a world where people have superpowers, the people who can like change the temperature of something but look like a normal human hate the people who have super strength and also look like dogs.
Yeah.
You know, so they're like, oh, I hate those people, but like also we're essentially the same in a lot of ways. Like there's a lot of complicated natures here. And My Hero does a great job of exploring all of them. And also there's fucking excellent fight scenes. There's one of my favorite characters, Bakugo. At the beginning, all of the characters are told, you need a code name. And there's a variety of reasons why. But mostly in My Hero, it's because they need something for people to call them. My favorite is in Civil War. They bring up that the reason that you use code names isn't to keep identity secret. That's a part of it. But it's also because there might be 3 Johns on the team.
Yeah, that's true.
And so you need to have a code name to know who's who. And so Bakugo he picks a terrible code name, which is like... Super Explosion Murder God. Dynamite.
That's awesome.
And it's just like, that's a terrible name, man.
It's
a terrible name.
Yeah.
But like, he earns it by the end of the season. You're like, all right. But at the same time, he also at one point goes up to the big villain that has been terrorizing the world for like decades and decades and decades, and says, you can't get away from me. I'm the final boss. And I'm like, that's your name. Final boss is your name. That's your name. That's a fucking great name. Final Boss? That's a fucking dope-ass superhero name. So you have all these moments, and they're great, and you're enjoying it, and it's building within the basic structures and physics of the world, and it's awesome. And then in the 10th episode, spoiler warning, the fight ends and is resolved. And you're like, oh, the world-ending fight that like we needed to get everybody together and we had to call the US to send in extra military support to help win this fight is over. There's 3 episodes left. What do you mean the fight's over? Oh, the fight's over. Is he going to come back? No, he's gone. We're done.
Weird.
What are the last 3 episodes for? So it has this kind of, we kept on referring to it as a protracted Lord of the Rings style ending where Aragorn is crowned, and you're like, oh, mission's done. No. We go back to the Shire. But instead of the movies, we do the books where the Shire is on fire. And now we have to get Saruman out. But there's none of that either. There's people in hospitals visiting each other. There's talk of like how the world is going to move on, which is like good and theoretically what we would want to know. But it also is like you could Exactly. You have at one point, we see the upperclassmen graduate that we had met. And it's like, okay, cool. I wanted to see them graduate, and that's fun. But then we see Class 1A, who we've been following this whole show, become Class 2A, and they go on to their second year, and you're like, okay. And they meet the first years, and you're like, is this going to be the show now? Are we restarting with Class
weird.
2, even though they just saved the world? Like, how are we restarting? And then fast forwards to them graduating, and you're like, so wait, now they've graduated? What the fuck is happening? And it was baffling because all at once it moved so languidly slow, and then would jump way ahead, and then would move so languidly slow, and then would jump way ahead. And so like you have this romance between these 2 characters. It's a shonen jump. Of course you have a romance between the 2 characters. The lead female character and the lead male character, of course, are falling in love. And the entire time, at the beginning of the first half of the season, it is a huge deal. And then in this half of the season, it's barely brought up once, and there's no resolution to their relationship. Like, the guy is in the hospital, nearly dies. The girl has to get a blood transfusion from her arch enemy, who she has finally convinced to be a good person. And neither of them see each other in the hospital. There's no moment of like, oh, I was so worried about you. I hope you're okay. Are you recovering?
And it's the
None
same
of that.
hospital.
Same hospital. Never see them together, but we see them go into Class 2A. And you're like, wait. Why did we skip over all the stuff with their relationship, but now we're watching them go back to school? How is that a thing? How does that make any sense? And then she has a mental breakdown over something that happened, and he's there for her. And then there's just no resolution to it. It's like, so are they a couple? Are they not? And then we fast forward 8 years. They never talk to each other in the 8-year sequence that we see. There's no indication that they're together.
That's weird.
There's just kind of like, oh, and she's off doing this, and he's off doing this. And it's just like, so wait, so they're not even together anymore? Wasn't that a huge deal that we spent all this time on? They have a whole thing where, like, the premise of the show is essentially that this kid has extremely destructive superpowers. And his father is super abusive. And he accidentally murders his whole family. Oops. And he becomes an orphan. And he goes out into the streets, and nobody wants to take care of him because he looks so creepy and weird, and they don't like him, so they ignore him. And he grows up and he becomes an evil villain, and then he tries to destroy the world, and all the heroes have to come together and save the day. And so during these last 3 episodes, we see the exact same thing happen. Of this kid has this weird power that people find gross, and he's rejected by his family, and he's sent out to live on the streets, and he's just hungry, and he just wants help. And an old woman now, this time, after everything that's happened, has been watching the news, and she says, oh, if someone had only helped that boy when he was a kid. So now she sees this new kid come along, and she's like, oh, I'll help him. And it's like, okay, so the world is getting better. But then they extrapolate that to the point where 8 years later, they're like, oh, we don't actually need superheroes anymore because we just got better as a society and now we just don't make villains. So there's no need for superheroes. So now all the superheroes that we've been cultivating for the last, several decades, including the entirety of this show, they don't have jobs because we don't need superheroes anymore. So they just go class to class and talk about being good and doing good with your powers. And I'm just like, wait, okay, what the fuck is happening? And in the middle of all of this, the main character who has been narrating the entire series from the beginning is writing something in a diary. And he's like, so why am I still writing this? Well, because we still have showtime to run. And I'm like, so you know that you're wasting time, but you're also still actively ignoring huge storylines that you should be using this time that you are actively talking about how you don't know what to do with.
Yeah. That's an odd narrative decision.
It's and the last 3 episodes are like this. It was crazy because the entire time I'm just like, so what about all of these things?
Yeah.
And then none of them matter. And you end up seeing where everybody lives and ends up. And there's a really nice, touching moment at the very end. That's kind of like a class reunion, superhero style. But you're also left being like, but we don't even need superheroes in this world because there's just not as many villains as there used to be because people are just nice. I'm so lost about everything. You don't care about the characters, but you did care about the world, but the basic premise of the world is now no longer true, so all the elements that made the basic premise interesting are no longer a factor.
That's so weird.
I don't know about this ending, man, because you had it. For the first 10 episodes, you had it. And then you get here and you openly talk about not knowing how to end the show, and I'm just left being like, but you have so much time. You have so much time. If Andor had this amount of time, they could have done so many things. You have so much time, and you're doing nothing with it. So it was a very complicated ending.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Good, until it kind of wasn't, and it kind of left a funky taste in your mouth. Complicated.
Yeah.
Tough.
Yeah, it sounds pretty complicated.
The last thing I wanted to talk about, and I'm going to make this quick. We rewatched Isle of Dogs. I think that is a underappreciated movie.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that is, like, as far as Wes Anderson goes, it's not as good as Fantastic Mr. Fox. But I think it might be more of a epitome of a Wes Anderson piece than Fantastic Mr. Fox.
I could see
in
that.
terms of artistic nature. Because, like, Grand Budapest, I think, is the most Wes Anderson a Wes Anderson film can be.
Yes, absolutely.
And in part because of the same reasons. Kelly showed me a great behind the scenes where they talked about the Budapest itself and how they looked at a bunch of hotels and they couldn't really find one that they liked. And so they ended up buying a mall and converting it.
Oh,
and
interesting.
That's why it's so Wes Anderson-y, is because they could literally modulate the entire set and do whatever they wanted with it. And so Isle of Dogs is very much in a very similar way of, like, because it's stop motion, everything is super Wes Anderson.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful for that. And it's complicated and it's weird.
Oh, it's a
and
great movie.
It's at times a little off-putting, but I love that movie because it's so dramatic. Like, for how silly the plot is. The plot of Isle of Dogs is just a dog flu starts and the chairman in Japan of a specific province, not all of Japan, but just like the mayor of a specific province, sends all the dogs to a garbage island so that they stop spreading dog flu. Meanwhile, there's been a cure for dog flu, and it comes out that the mayor was the one kind of propagating the dog flu in the first place, so he was setting up this whole thing. His ward loves his dog guard, his bodyguard dog, who has a little ear bug that he listens to stuff in and can shoot teeth. It's very Wes Anderson. And so he goes to the Isle of Dogs to find him, and chaos ensues. But, like, I just love, like, you have so many moments leading up that are so Wes Anderson-y of, like, they find the little pilot. They have to help the little pilot. It would really be great if any of us could understand. And Jeff Goldblum has his old Jeff Goldblum-y thing. And Ed Norton is doing his old Ed Norton thing. And Bob Balaban is like, do you remember when I was the guy at the head of the dog show and now I'm an actual dog? And I just love all of these moments. Bryan Cranston fits right in like a glove on the whole thing. Movie. And then the dogs that we love get put in a thresher. And we're like, did you just kill all of those dogs? I I think I have to leave. I don't think I can watch this. And like literally I almost walked out of the theater when it happened because I was like, no fucking way. Did you just kill all those dogs? Like apart from them being adorable characters that I really like, I cannot abide dog death in this movie. Don't worry. The dogs are fine. Even the dogs are like, how are we not dead? Yeah. So, but like, I love that movie because it's so quirky and weird and fun. And like also deeply morose, really heart tearing, like really gets to you on a soul level of various things. It does go too far. Having an actual character named Dr. Yoko Ono played by Yoko Ono. It's a hat on a hat.
It's a little too much.
Let's take this back a little bit. Put it back in the lab as the pun would be. Yeah. But like the sushi guy preparing sushi, that might be one of the best sequences I've ever seen in any movie. The way that they use glass bottles, and then you remember that this is all miniatures. Like there's so many awesome moments in this movie, and it did not get the love that it deserved when it came out.
Because
or
I
years
think
later.
the problem is like when I showed it to my kids, they didn't like it because it's not really a kids movie.
No.
And that's the problem is people see stop animation. To them, it's like, oh, it's got to be for kids because it's animation. It's like, no, dude. Yeah. It has things that kids could like about it, but the main theme of it is very adult.
Oh, no, this is a movie for adults.
Yes, it's definitely for adults.
Even like the fact that they don't translate any of the Japanese. Like I love that they have a note at the beginning where they're like, everything is in its original Japanese translated by either a translator, a mini device, or something else. And all the barks have been rendered into English.
English, which is
it's
awesome.
just like I
that
love
was
this.
fucking awesome.
I love this. And
awesome.
it's just like, but as far as like a piece of masterful filmmaking, it touches all the bases. It has a great script. It has great direction. It's animated, so everything is made to order. There's no shortcuts on anything. Everything is beautiful from top to bottom. It has a great cast. It's just like, everybody should be talking about this movie and nobody does, and I think it's a damn shame.
Like, it's a movie that you could easily take the story, make it live action, make a couple tweaks, and put live actors in it, and it would work.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what's great about it. You can't say that about many animated movies.
Yeah.
But yeah, this one is like kind of what we were talking about, and I'm when you started bringing it up, it made me think about something we talked about recently, which was Kubo and the Two Strings.
Yes.
Because once again, the same type of thing where it's like, I did show it to my kids. It is my son's favorite movie now. He absolutely adores it. But it's the same thing where it's such a great story that you could put like actual humans and make it a live action, and it would be great.
It would be
as
just
long
as
you followed the exact fucking beats and storyline of it.
And maybe don't cast Matthew McConaughey as the samurai bug. Maybe not. Maybe not. That is one role in that movie that I just get stuck on every time. It's not that he's bad. He's very good, but I always get stuck on drawless Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah.
Every time I get stuck on it. Even in True Detective, he had his drawl.
But also, he does have one of those voices that you want to hear a voice of an actor, and even though you know it's that famous actor, you don't want to think of it every time they speak. But every time, you're right. When I heard him speak, I'm like, it's fucking Matthew McConaughey. That's all you can think about.
I feel the same way about Sing. I'm like, I can't not look at that koala and think Matthew McConaughey. Yeah. I don't know why. I can't. He's fully trying to disguise his voice. Yeah. Still can't help it. Still see Matthew McConaughey.
And like, the lion, unless he's singing, I would not know that was Bono when he was just talking.
Yeah.
But as soon as he starts singing, you know it's fucking Bono.
Yeah, then you know it's Bono.
But yeah, so I agree with you. It's like,
Yeah. So, watch Isle of Dogs. If you haven't watched it, check it out. It's great.
It's so funny.